Yo, what is going on, guys? Episode 70 of many. Special guest today. We're continuing on episode, I think this will be our third episode of the Holden mini-series. So we've got Holden Smith here today. We've got a lot to unpack. It's another month since we've talked to you. So the goal of today's episode is kind of dive into what Holden's been doing, talk about the goals that he's achieved, the new goals that we're going to set for the next month, and again, kind of, we're doing this to hold you accountable, but also to share his story with anybody else that may need to hear these kinds of things, because it's not easy, and you're going through it. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, without further ado, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Saturday morning, about 10 o'clock. Did you already get your workout in today?
I did, yeah.
How'd that go? How's our workouts going? All that kind of stuff.
Things are going good, man. I mean, like, I think everybody kind of has a day where, like, they don't want to go, but I think those are the days that are most important that you do go, because you always feel better. Like, after you leave the gym, you always feel better about yourself. So yeah, Monday through Saturday, I'm at the gym every day. I get up 5:30, done by 7:30, and then go to work. So,
and your routine's going pretty good. Like, and something we've been working on, sleeping at the same time, waking up at the same time. It's something I'm a huge, something I think is really important. How's that aspect going?
It's been tremendous. Yeah. I don't allow my screen time, anything past 9 o'clock. So then I'm asleep no later than 9:15. I think the recovery aspect has been tremendous for me, because now that my body is getting those full amounts of hours of sleep instead of, the 4 or 5 hours that I was getting. Now I'm able to do more in the gym, and I'm able to push myself more.
And you're using the Whoop, right? We got you on the Whoop.
Yeah.
We told that whole story. So how you got the Whoop, how you didn't get the Whoop, and then how you got the Whoop. Mm-hmm. So what have you been noticing on your Whoop? I tell a lot of people that listen, you should track if you can afford it. Get the Oura Ring or the Whoop, just something to kind of see your metrics. Yeah. Even if you have the Apple Watch. So what have you noticed kind of tracking your stuff over the last, month or so, right?
I definitely, my steps, I bare minimum is 10,000 a day, no matter what. I always get 10,000 steps in. My strain is always at a higher, number, which I think is great. And, like we were just talking about recovery. I think, you touched on, I think it was last episode, you said that it's kind of like a video game, you see it and then you want to beat that number before. And, with me being competitive, I really like that, because I'm able to change those numbers. I physically have to change those numbers if I want to see them change. So it's definitely huge for me. I like that.
Have you noticed anything that you do that affects anything? Have you been oh shoot, I know you had the dog you had to take to the vet or whatever, right? So have you noticed anything else other than that has been oh shoot, I did eat kind of later that night, and I noticed my sleep score wasn't as good, or I was, sometimes what happens is if you get steps too close at night, if you're too active before you go to bed, I have to get 2 more thousand steps in, it's 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. Some of those things affect it. So have you noticed anything in your personal life that you're there was a couple times, or?
Yeah, there was a couple times where I went to, for instance, I went to a Packer game and I had 17,000 steps, but my recovery in the morning wasn't as good because my strain was past 12. So, with that being said, yeah, because I'm such in a routine now to where my body is, when I'm supposed to be sleeping, now being active. So now it's a bigger strain on my body, and I have to basically my body's pushing itself harder to work. So I'm not going to recover, as well. So that's definitely huge for me, is just staying in the routine, because I feel if I get out of the routine, then, I'm kind of in a funk, right? I'm not going to be able to, just feel good, with my body, about myself or just anything like that. So I'm on the right path, and I just want to stay on that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I know, regarding the recovery aspect, I'm just talking to you here. So if we have a day that we've got a higher strain, or we work really hard, usually it automatically, I don't know how you have your bedtime set up in there, but I have my alarm clock set to improve my sleep. So it'll adjust what time it wants me to go to bed, if that's what you're doing. So the days that we have higher strain, if you have a really big day compared to normal, it'll want you to go to bed earlier so you get more recovery. Obviously, the Packer game probably screwed the timing of that and stuff too.
Right.
But
yeah, I'll get that notification where it'll say get to bed by 9:03 so you can get an 85% recovery and stuff like that. So I think that's also kind of nice that I can look at that as like a little reminder of like, oh, like I really need to keep my priorities in track and better myself every day.
Yeah, I'm so addicted to it where I'll see like, you know, you have to be in bed at 8:15, and then I'm like, okay, and like you don't necessarily feel tired. Then it's like, well, this thing probably knows better than I do. I should probably just go to sleep, you know. So like it just kind of like forces me to take that, you know. Sometimes you're busy and you're just like so involved, or you're like on your phone or doing whatever, and all of a sudden it's like for me 7:50, and I'm like not tired at all, but it's like, hey, you should probably start winding down and relax and that stuff. So okay, so we're using the Whoop, it's going good. And you're using it to improve like day-to-day stuff. So like your recovery is getting better, more consistent. I'm sure you've been kind of watching like your HRV and that kind of stuff, just because the higher HRV, the higher recovery generally is what it is. Do you go into that like health spot a lot and like see like how we're all doing?
Yeah,
like, I
do, man. It's kind of, I mean, it was nice. Like, since Whoop always gives out like, is it weekly or monthly awards, something like that? I can't think.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's nice to always see like, I don't know, it's a little competition between all of us. You know what I mean? Like who had the best strain or the most steps or best recovery, you know, whatever. So yeah, it's nice, and I think it's great that we can hold each other accountable. You know, like if we all know like we have a certain goal that we want to meet, like, you know, hey, quit messing around, like, you know, get your ass to bed like at this amount of time, or, you know, do whatever, get some steps in. Yeah. So
yeah, well, cool. So Whoop's going good. Our sleep has improved. You actually have a routine now compared to before you started this journey. You were getting inconsistent sleep. You were kind of staying up late or whatever. Video games. You were a big video game guy before. What's the video game life like since you started this journey?
It's definitely decreased, despite of what my fiance thinks. It definitely has decreased. Like it would be me like up to like midnight 31. You know what I mean? Like just being a bum, you know, slapping some kids on Fortnite, you know what it is. But just, you know, stuff like that. Like, I mean, I can still do those things, but I can just do it in a different, timely manner. Yeah. You know, like I can set some time aside, like, you know, on a Sunday, right? Like where I have more time to play, or like, you know, on a weekend, like where I've got my 10,000 steps, or I've been so active today, you know, like now, like, I guess it's not on the top of my priority list is what I'm trying to say. You know, I don't put it as a top priority, like, oh, like I got to do this or I got to do that. You know, I don't know. I am more focused on just bettering myself than like sitting down and, you know, playing a game and stuff like that. So
are you like playing daily still, or not nearly? Like
no, not as much. I mean,
I guess you're going to bed earlier. You're working. You know, you're doing all these things, and then we're gonna kind of talk about reading next. So that's kind of why I was curious. You're doing these other things to improve yourself, right? And I assumed you were playing video games probably daily before, as much as you could. Obviously, if you're working doubles and stuff, maybe that was harder, but. Now it's kind of like much, so I would assume it's much less.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, it used to be like every day I was off, like during the week, it was like, well, like it's 9:00 in the morning. I just woke up, like, I'm going to do this all the way until my fiance gets home. So, you know, it'd be like 4:30, 5:00. Like, that's all I would do.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Video games.
Yep. Yeah, just let my brain rot, you know, doing whatever. But yeah, now it's just, like I said, not at the top of my priority list. You know, like it's still in there for like a hobby or activity, right? Sure. But no, it's not a daily thing, and it's not like a 4 or 5+ hour thing.
So let's go right into like reading. So that habit, how is that habit? We had a goal we won't go into all the goals yet, but we had a goal last time we met. You wanted to read 3 books before this conversation. Yep. How did that go?
Tremendous. It went great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I think when I got done with, it was called The Body Keeps Score. Like I finished it within like a couple days, and I was like, oh, you know, like I can easily like just, you know, pick up a book another time, blah, blah, blah. But then like a week went by and I was like, oh shit, like, you know, I gotta still hold myself accountable, and I still gotta read those books. It went good. You know, it was like more or less just kind of like a reminder of the books that I read were all like mental health books, and they were all about just, you know, keeping yourself better. And like if you're in a routine, you know, just keep like grinding. You know, like change is scary, right? But change can also be like a great thing because you never know where it's going to take you. Yeah. So,
and you're reading these physical books, or?
Yeah. my fiance has like Kindle Unlimited, so like I was doing that for a little bit, but I actually just ordered like the paperback versions from Amazon and stuff like that. So I kind of just like the no screen time for a bit.
Yeah.
And then after a while, like, when you're on the screen, like your eyes kind of hurt. And plus two, like I always have my phone in like low power mode, so I'm always having to hit the screen.
So I actually just learned this. So one, the trophy aspect of finishing a book is like greater than just like marking it off on Kindle Unlimited. So anybody who wants to read, not saying it's still a good thing to read on Kindle versus not read at all. But the best, most satisfying way is to have the trophy, read it. And so I was out in Vegas, and Stephen Kotler was the speaker on Friday, and he talks about this this flow state and all these things that are good for the brain. We don't have to go into that, but the physical of turning the page is like it's like when you have a to-do list and you get to mark things off, like physically mark them off on a paper, it actually gives you a lot of satisfaction. You're like, well, I had 5 things and I'm down to 2. It's the same thing when you flip a page. It's a little thing that happens in our brain. We don't really notice it. We're just like reading. But the physical page turning versus Kindle scrolling, it's actually very good for our brain as well. It's like, oh, wow, like I'm making progress. I'm going in the right direction. So there's a lot more to reading a physical copy than there is a digital copy for sure. So
absolutely.
So that's cool. So, okay. So reading is probably, when do you read? Like you work out in the morning, you don't have a whole lot of time, you go to work, come home. Like when are we getting our reading done, and how much reading are you like kind of doing a day?
Yeah. I read at least 4 to 5 chapters a day of a book. I shouldn't say a day. Like I try and make it at least a couple times a week. I have a lunch break from like 12 to like 12:30, so I'll read in there. Like I'll eat and read at the same time, or else before like my fiance gets home, like I get home around like 3:30ish, and she'll get home about like 5:30. So it's nice for me to like read those books right there in that time.
Yeah. Okay. So we're squeezing that in there, and I had another question on reading, but. So reading's going well. We've got 3 books done since last time. Yeah. Have we started another one right away, or are you just like kind of waiting for this meeting?
No, I actually just finished The Body Keeps Score, or not The Body Keeps Score, The Let Them Theory 3 days ago.
Okay. So taking a little, so what, we'll dive into like each individual goal here and kind of where we're going. So we finished the 3 we said. What is our goal for next time?
5 books.
We're going to do 5 books.
Yeah.
So kind of like probably almost a book a week, maybe just over, something like that.
Yeah.
Have you picked out any books yet? Do you have any that are on like your to-do list or purchase or the cart or?
Yeah, I got a few in the Amazon list that I have to look at. Me personally, like I'm in like the kind of point in my life right now, like on this journey where I've really like kind of started to realize like it's just a mental game, like it's, like I just talked about, like on the days you don't want to be here, the days that you leave and have a great workout, like now you just feel so much better, right? Like you feel like you can conquer the world and you can do whatever, so I also in a sense get that like when I read those mental health books, I don't want to say it's like a reassurance thing, but it's also just like an eye opener. It's almost kind of like someone is just like talking to you like, hey, like you've worked hard, like keep, pushing yourself X, Y, and Z. So those things kind of keep me motivated as well. So that's why I do like, me personally, just reading like either like an autobiography so I can like base like, maybe like compare my life, story to somebody else and be like, okay, they didn't have the best either and now look at them, right? Or I just, read like a mental health book to where it's like, your brain does this because, this. So yeah, it definitely keeps me in line.
Yeah. Well, cool. So we're going to go 5 books. Is there anything else you've noticed since you've been like reading? Like obviously like we've got decreased video games, probably less screen time on the phone because you're reading more. Is there anything else that you'd say that you've noticed since reading? When I read, I feel like I start to speak a little bit better. Like more words make sense because I'm reading words that I'm not used to thinking about. You know what I mean? So you notice anything like that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I feel like my vocabulary is a little bit better. Like I used the word nonsensical to my fiance the other week. She's like, that's not a word. I was like, yeah, it definitely is a word. Don't you? And like, I know I'm right, So stuff like that, I feel like my vocabulary is better. I also start to like think a little bit more before I speak on those kind of things. Yeah, just little stuff like that. Like I don't use like bad, like grammar, like when I text now, because I just feel like it's, I don't know, it's just a little bit of irritation. Like when I look at it, like, no, that looks wrong.
Right.
Stuff like that. So
I would like to say before we move on to the next one, so the touching on the days you don't want to work out, the days that are the hardest, and a lot of people like we just say that, and people just like the people who don't work out or don't realize it, they don't understand like what we're saying. But there's never a good time to do the hard thing. Like we don't ever want to do the hard thing.
right.
And so in my head, as you're saying this, it's like I haven't cold showered really that much this week, just because I haven't really had a good time to do it. And that's just like my excuse, right? Like I should have just turned it cold and got in the shower before,
Right.
you know. So there's never a good time to do the hard thing, and we're always going to push off the hard thing. In your normal day-to-day life, like when I have to help prepare taxes for the business, it's like I don't want to do that, so I wait till the last possible. It's like those things we push off.
Yeah.
And just forcing yourself to do that hard thing, which is like going to the gym the days you don't want to or the times you don't want to.
Yeah.
It does feel so satisfying afterwards, because like it's just something happens in our brain that's like, you know what, I knew you could do it. But our conscious or our subconscious is saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Like they're fighting with each other. But then after you do it, it's just like this great release. And like, I guess what I'm trying to say is the people listening that don't force themselves to do those things, they're probably just like, yeah, okay. Like
Right.
But once you really do it, it does feel great. After that hard day, it always feels good after the gym. But the day you don't want to go, and then you walk out of the gym, you're like, you know what? Like I'm proud of myself, because you're kind of rewiring your brain to say, you know what? I don't care what you say. I can do it because I'm strong to do it. Kind of like the David Goggins mentality,
Yeah,
right?
man. Absolutely.
I can go out and accomplish anything I want. And that's why I try to tell our audience, write things down that you're going to accomplish this week. And if you can't even do those things, like don't write down 30 things like I do, but write down 3 things you want to do this week. Personally, I want to walk 5 miles. I want to read a book, whatever it is. If you can't hold yourself to actually accomplish those things, like who are you? You know what I mean? Like you can't even you can't even hold yourself accountable. Why?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like we have to fix that part of our system before we go on and count on other people and stuff. So
yeah, I agree. I think accountability and the mental game, like for this, is like just tied for the most important thing, right? Like, you know, I've said it hundreds and thousands of times. Like you can go to the gym, work out, right, do everything, but it's all about what you put in your body after you leave the gym, right? Like I could go to the gym, 6 out of 7 days a week, but if I'm gonna go to McDonald's and eat like shit every day, what's the point of me putting in this work at 5:30 in the morning every day? Another thing like that, you were talking about writing stuff down. Like one thing I do, it's called written exposure, like therapy. I always like kind of keep a daily journal about just how my day went and like what's going on. I kind of like to look back at it as just like a reflection, and like I'm also getting like all like my other like feelings and stuff like out on paper. It doesn't matter like what I do with it, if I'm gonna crumple it up, burn it, whatever. But everything's out on the paper, and it's almost kind of like I'm finishing like another race. Like when I leave, the gym on the days that I don't want to be there, I just feel like so proud. Like I feel like it's like the when somebody tells you like, hey, I'm really proud of you, like you almost get that feeling, right? Like that swagger, like you feel like Superman, like you just feel like you can conquer the world. Like, like you said, like, damn, like I really can do this stuff. It gives you that motivation to come back tomorrow.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just, a mental game and accountability. If you can get those two things going, then I think, you're unstoppable. I think the only person that really is in your way is yourself. We talked this morning about, my weight loss and stuff like that. And you had said like, isn't it crazy how fast it's happening? And like, you said it also too as like, hey, remember you said that like, when we first met. So yeah, it's crazy how everything's finally coming together, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is, so let's jump right into, let's go into our walking goal before we go back into we'll save the weight loss goal for the end. So
Sure.
We had a walking goal that we set last time we talked.
Yep.
What was our goal? And then let's just talk about that story and kind of what happened.
Yeah. The walking goal was to walk 5 miles, no stopping, right? I really like to look back on like walking, like the first walk that we took. I just felt like so humiliated and embarrassed, but like, I was really grateful for you because like you just made me like not feel judged. You made me feel like, dude, just take a break, go at your own pace. You weren't pushing me to be like, hey, like, why are we stopping? So now like, yeah, I walked 5 miles and it was hard. Like it was, I'm not going to say it wasn't easy because my feet really hurt after that, but I found it to be a lot easier. Just doing it outside instead of like on a treadmill, which I kind of enjoyed more. Yeah, it was challenging. When I was at the like 3.5 mile mark, I was like, I can't stop now. Like there was a point in time where I was like, I don't think I can do this, and that was that like the first, mile and a half, 2 miles. But then when I saw like 3.5, 4 miles, I was like, dude, I am like right there. Like I can't stop now. So I was able to do that. I know we said to just do it once, but I was able to do it 4 times.
That's awesome.
To me, man, like that just speaks mental toughness. It just speaks on how bad I want to change and how bad I want to better myself.
It's funny that we just set that goal. We wrote it down. We said this is our goal.
Yep.
And like the next day, you're just like,
I'm doing it.
You could see it. You're like, well, I have to do it at some point. And it just happened. So I think, like you said, it's the power of the mental toughness. Yeah. You just decided, you know what, I have to do it, and I'm kind of already doing it. I'm just going to do it now. Yeah,
for sure. It's funny because I was just talking to my brother-in-law, and he was like, yeah, I just took this trip and I walked like 10 miles in 3 days, and he's like, I'm exhausted, and he's like, like the size of my leg, right? No offense to him, right? But I'm thinking like, oh, I can do that, like no problem, So like that to me just felt kind of good. Yeah, so building up like that endurance and just, building up that mental toughness. I looked at it as, we said we were going to do it. And I'm the kind of guy that likes to get all my stuff done right away in the morning, just so then I can relax the rest of the day and just do like stuff that I like to do. Yeah. Get all the work done. So yeah, that's what I did. Right away, like the next day, I was like, hey, I'm going to the gym. I'll walk 5 miles. And then we discussed that we're going to do it every Sunday before football. So it was nice because, I'd be walking and I'd be watching football on my phone or whatever, like outside. I would just go and then still have enough time to come home at noon and, watch kickoff and stuff. So yeah, it's perfect.
That's awesome. I'm really proud of you for accomplishing that. I know. I don't even know what goals we should set because I'm just like, if you're going to do them tomorrow, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk. What's our future walking goal for the next 4 or 5 weeks? What do we want to accomplish in that side of things?
I want to continuously walk, like 1.5 miles or more every day I'm at the gym, like no matter what. Like I don't care if I do like the craziest leg day exercise, right? Like I still want to walk 1.5 miles every single day because I noticed when I was only walking up to like 1 mile, like I was not as, if we're going to go back to talking about the whoop, I probably should have said it earlier that, I was seeing that my strain wasn't at its highest or like my steps were, like just kind of like plateauing, right? And I wanted to increase all that stuff. So I wanted to push myself a little bit, higher incline, higher speed. I normally do like a 3.5 or 4.0 like incline. And then I'll do anywhere from like a 2.8 speed to like a 3.1. And like I don't stop. Yeah. So, and I think and I have like the whoop right next to me on my phone so I can see like my heart rate, like my, all that stuff, my strain right there. So that really kind of motivates me to like, oh, keep pushing, I'm at like a 6.7 strain. Like, I want to get to a 9 or, something like that. So I want to walk 1.5 miles or more every single time I'm at the gym.
Okay. So that's going to be our goal. So that's going to be 6 days a week, right? Because you're coming to the gym 6 days a week? Yeah. Do you have to do anything different, like time-wise, before you go to work then? Like, do you have to get here earlier so you've got enough time to always walk that long? Or
yeah. So I look at it as long as I'm at the gym by 6 o'clock and I'm done with, like, my weightlifting by, like, 6:30, 6:45. As long as I leave here by 7:30, 7:35, I can make it to work.
Sure. Okay. So we've got our walking goal. We're going to consistently hit 1.5 miles a day. So that's 6 days a week. Yep. We're going to consistently hit the gym 6 days a week. Then that's one of our natural goals that'll just happen. Yeah. We've got our book goal that we talked about. Let's just go right into our weight loss goal and let's talk about that. And then we'll kind of dive a little bit deeper into what you've noticed over the last 4 or 5 weeks, what you've learned, what what everybody's saying, your friends, family, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. What was our weigh-in last time? Do you remember?
I think I'd have to think, like the last podcast.
Yeah, what did we weigh that day?
I'd have to look. I know I was still in the 400s.
I think it was around like 420 something.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was 417 or something like that.
Okay. And
something like that.
And what was our goal for this podcast?
400.
400 was our goal.
Yeah.
And we know that like we're slowly going to slow down a little bit. Maybe we're not going to lose 10, 15 pounds in a week like we did some of those weeks.
Right.
So we're trying to set you up for success. We're also getting you on the in body. So that way you can really see your muscle mass versus your body fat and your water weight and all that stuff. So we can watch those fluctuations. So that way, if you do have a week where you're down only 2 pounds, we don't want you to get discouraged. We want to make sure that you're like, oh shoot, I actually gained 3 pounds of muscle, lost 4, whatever. So we're going to do that. That's one thing that we're going to do this month. Make sure we get you on the in body. Should have done it when we started. It would have been pretty crazy. But I do think we have an in body from like when you and Chase did it a long time ago. So that'll still be a pretty good starting point. So our goal was 400. We're around like that 420 mark last 4 or 5 weeks ago. Yeah. What did we weigh in this morning?
389 pounds.
389.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
It just felt so good, dude. Like, it's such a good feeling, man. Like, I'm able to fit into like all my shirts and stuff that like, I had before. Just, like I said, like, it's just like the little things, like fitting in this chair better, being able to, drive and not have my stomach touch the steering wheel, or like, like sit in a chair and be like, oh, fuck, like I hope it doesn't break, kind of thing. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel better and I feel confident about myself. It's pretty crazy to think that I'm 7 pounds away from, losing 100 pounds of, and, we talked about, on August 4th, like when we sat down and we're like, hey, let's do this. And, you were so quick to send me like voice memos, like, hey, like you should do this today, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's start here, this and this. And I was like, damn, like this guy really wants, like, I've really just kind of like sealed my fate, of stuff that, I want to do. So, it wasn't like a, hey, we're going to start Monday, or, hey, we'll start January 1st kind of thing. I was like, no, what can we do today to make you better for tomorrow? So I'm really appreciative of that, from you, holding me accountable there, because I feel like if it were to be like a Monday kind of thing, or like, oh, hey, we'll start next weekend, or, whatever, I don't think I'd be as motivated as I am right now. So, yeah,
I think I definitely helped light the match a little bit. But now, I mean, we only connect once or twice a week. Like, it's not like all the time. Obviously, you've got some more supporters now.
Yeah.
What is it like when you're coming? Well, we'll come back to the weight loss goal, but when you're in the gym, I mean, like, obviously we know Trendia is a big supporter of you. He's keeping you busy. I'm sure he's reaching out to you all the time. Do you have anybody else in the gym that like notices you when you're here? Like, did you have anybody like hyping you up and like happy to see, stuff like that?
Man, everybody, like, I told Trent the other week, man, I was like, dude, if you see anybody in this gym, like anywhere that is here at the crack of dawn, like anytime before 7 o'clock, 6, like, just they're here to really better themselves. Like, I like the mindset of, get your stuff out of the way in the morning, then go on without your day, right? So, definitely everybody that is there is just like Donna, like she's there, like she's just such a nice lady, and she's always like, hey, how's it going? Like, she's always interactive with me on, like how I'm doing, and just complimenting me on how good I look, and to like, motivate me to like do better, I just, like it's almost like a small community and like a family, like we're all like, they're holding each other accountable, and we're all like there to better ourselves. And I think like that's such a big thing, right? Is when you can kind of get that thing out of your head of like, oh, people are going to judge me at the gym, or, I don't think I can do this and this, but everybody is there to better themselves. And I guarantee you, like if you go up to anybody at the gym, like they will help you in any kind of way, no matter what, like coaches or, just anybody even at the gym, like they'll be kind enough to be like, take that 10 seconds out of their day to just help you, get to where you want to be.
That's awesome. So what's the weight goal for next pod? What do you think makes sense for you at the end of November? We do have Thanksgiving and that kind of stuff, so you're going to have to be careful and cautious around that time. But what do we want to, we're at 389, 388?
389, yeah.
What do we want to accomplish in the next 4 to 5 weeks?
Yeah, I'm thinking like 365, man.
Yeah.
Or if not, maybe 360.
Yeah.
So I'd say anywhere from like 360 to 365
Okay.
is where I want to be.
Let's go 365. I do think it's going to fall off slower, but I want to encourage good stuff. So let's go 365 because we still want it to be attainable. It's 25 pounds.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe we blow it out of the water. We still at 350.
Yeah.
So we'll go 365. That's a great number to hit by today's October 25th or something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll probably pick one of those last Saturdays again or something like that to record a pod because that's just what's going to work best for us.
Sure.
So great. So we're going to read 5 books. We're going to walk 1.5 miles a day for the 6 days a week.
Yep.
Are you still going to go for long walks on Sundays, you think? Is that kind of the goal? Or
I think so, yeah. Like, I still think I'll get up in the morning and take the dogs for a walk or do something, man, for sure. I don't know. Like, I definitely give my body, like, the rest that it needs, you know, but I still like to be active in some sort of way, you know? Like, when I tell my fiance Carly all the time, like, you know, it just kind of bugs me like that. You know, like the one time, like on my Whoop, like the Sunday, it said like 7,000 steps out of 10. Like I know I took a rest day, but it still just bugs the shit out of me that I don't see that 10. You know, because I'm such in a routine of like getting used to that. Yeah, it just irks me. So yeah,
that's awesome. What? Okay, and so then our last goal is the 365.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about like what the last 4 weeks has been. Like that's kind of where we'll wrap up today's episode. Like let's talk about. What's your diet been like? The mental aspect, you know. I know we talked a little bit about the Quest chips and stuff too. So let's just talk about like the last 4 or 5 weeks. What have you noticed? Maybe you're fitting in chairs even better than you were. You know, just stuff like that. One thing that I've noticed, and I told you a couple weeks ago, and I saw you here. Maybe it was this week. Like your presence is just bigger. Like you're standing taller. Like you're not as hunched over. There's probably 2 parts to that. 1, you're less heavy, but 2, you're more confident. Yeah. You're feeling probably better, happier, like look at me now, where before it was like look at me, you know what I mean? So I think that's been a thing. So I noticed when I saw you the other day, I was like, I don't remember you being this. I know that you're taller than me. I'm not very tall, but I was like, it's even a bigger figure now, even though you've lost so much weight. So I thought that was super cool and just something that I noticed. So what other things? What other things have you noticed maybe along those lines?
Definitely like the height, you know, differences. Something like I'm more broad, like when I walk, you know, like I'm not as hunched over.
And you can even say that in before and after pictures too.
Yeah.
Which is like obvious. Like you literally gained like 2 inches, like your back isn't rounded. Like,
really. You know, like I'm originally like 6'2", right? But I think back, you know, I was probably 6 foot, you know, now I'm in that 6'2", you know, mark again, right? Because, you know, like my stomach isn't as like farther out than my chest.
It's a lot flatter there too, right? Like everything's kind of. Yeah.
So I think I'm also just really kind of hard on myself to where like, no, I don't see the change or, you know, I'm not sure yet, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, when you really like look at like the pictures, right, of everything, like you really can tell the difference, you know? So yeah, definitely like my posture, you know, being different. I'd also say like, I'm going to have to get like some new clothes. Like I just received, a pair of joggers, you know, as like a gift and they fit, but like now it's been 2 weeks and I'm like, well, they're kind of like falling off me now. Like every time I walk on the tread, like I got to pull up my pants like every other mile, you know, like stuff like that. And then like to touch on like my eating, I just want to shout out like Brandon Peters for sending me like his recipes and like his meals. Like they have been just delicious, right? Like they've been great. The Quest chips, you know, like you said, like it's not like an everyday thing that you need to eat, but it's a healthier alternative for like a once in a while kind of snack. You know, like Sunday was around, you know, like Packers were playing and we just had like walking tacos, right? So I decided to use Quest chips, you know, as a healthier alternative instead of like, you know, Doritos or whatever. You know, I think when you and I talked about like, you know, my calorie intake, I think like that was kind of a big eye opener for me because, you know, like that 1 week, you know, I didn't lose as much weight as I wanted to. I was a little discouraged. And then you said, you know, hey, get your protein and calories up, you know, higher intake. I took that advice, you know, and now I'm 7 pounds away from losing 100 pounds. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, bro.
I'm really proud of you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I mean, 100 pounds is almost unfathomable, right? Like, it's just a tough, it's like we were saying earlier, the first thing you ask is like, hey man, like if I do this, how fast how fast do you think I can do this? Like, honestly, like realistically, like, what do you think? Like, those are like, that's how you were talking to me.
Yeah.
I was like, well, but seriously, dude, like, between you and I, it's like everything's been between you and I, but you're like,
Yeah.
but tell me real, like, how much can I lose and how fast can I lose it?
Right.
And I'm like, dude, you're going to lose weight fast. Like, and just minor changes. Like, you could have not worked out. You could have just gotten more steps in. You could have just changed what you're eating and you're going to see dramatic change. You could have just cut out the soda and the candy, and you've done it all at the same time. So it's super cool, super inspiring. I hope a lot of people are taking a lot away from that.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. For real. Like, I just want to touch on something real quick. Like, that we talked about. It was, the day that we had the meeting of like, hey, what can we do today?
Yeah.
Right. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, if you're listening and like you need a reason to start, like, start today. Like, don't start Monday. Don't start January 1st. Don't start after the holidays. Like, start today. What can you do today to make yourself better for tomorrow? Like, that's the mindset that you need. So better yourself today, even if it's, like, I want to quit drinking soda. So instead of a 12-pack, I'll buy the mini sodas, I'll have that for a week, and then, 3 a week, and then 1 a week, like, just wean yourself off of those kind of things. Like, set small goals, make yourself accountable to those goals, and don't stop.
I like it. It's true.
Yeah.
What have you noticed with friends and family? Like, people supporting you, maybe impacting any other friends like that maybe are in the same situation as you.
Yeah.
You and your fiance, like, what, just let's talk on that.
Everybody's like really, really supportive, of me. Like, I already like do have like a small circle, but everybody, that rides with me, like, I'm so grateful, for them, because they've all supported me, they all encourage me. And even if like we all get together and like people are like eating like different foods or, doing whatever, like, there's no judgment of, me trying to like eat the healthier alternatives, right? Or like, we can't do X, Y, and Z because Holden's on a diet or this and that. Like, there's none of that, which I really do appreciate. Like, we can still all have fun and like we can all still do all these things, like, we're not partying or, doing whatever, but like, we can all still like hang out and like do whatever. So I just feel very like grateful, and I'm still very, like amazed that all my friends and family have just been so supportive of me and like, are encouraging me to like be better every single day. A lot of people always check in and, they want an update, and everybody's asking me about like the podcast and, when the next episode will be and stuff like that. Like, hearing that they think it's kind of like a Netflix episode of like, when's the next one going to drop is like awesome. A good feeling, bro. You know? So as much as I hate hearing my own voice, like, it's great to, encourage other people. So I don't know. I hope, in some way, like, if any of my friends or family like are listening, I hope that, I can encourage them to just do one thing, a week, or one thing a day to just make them 1% better than, what they were yesterday. So like, that's kind of the mindset that I have in the gym, right? Like, I don't care if I'm benching like, X amount of weight and somebody else is doing this much, right? Like, as long as I'm doing more work than I did yesterday, then I'm happy with myself and my results.
I love it.
So,
what's it been like at home as far as like diet stuff? Like, have you stayed really true to the diet? Have you cheated at all? Has there been any mistakes?
No, I've been real strict. Like, I tell my fiance all the time, like, we'll just be chilling in bed and I'll be like 8:00, we'll be reading or whatever. And I'm like, I really want some fucking candy, but I can't, and she's like, yeah, I know, it sucks, chew gum or, have a vitamin or do whatever, so she really holds me accountable, which is great. The only time I cheated was on my birthday. I had a scoop of dirt cake, and it was pretty fucking delicious. It was very good. Yeah.
Just one? Was it the biggest
just one.
scoop? How big was a spoon?
No, it was like what you get like out of a barbecue or whatever. Okay. So it was like that, just on a paper plate, and it was pretty fucking delicious. Yeah.
Who ate the rest of this cake?
We gave it to my friend. Like, we gave it to Billy, and then Carly had some, and I let the dog lick the spoon too. So,
so you did a good job of like restricting yourself in a sense, though. I mean, you can reward yourself. You just have to be careful, right? I mean, just
for sure. Yeah.
That little, snap in the brain can be like, oh wow, like maybe a second or a third scoop, right? So
exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, it was definitely a thought in my head for sure. Like, I didn't want to treat it like a China buffet though, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna eat like 10,000 more, like, or just something like that, right? Like, it was the self-control, like, it's okay to I think like that was the biggest thing for me too, was like when I ate that first bite, like, was it delicious? Yeah, but I felt like shit because like I felt like I just cheated on myself.
Yeah.
Like I felt so ashamed. But then like I think about like, okay, well, I got over like 12,000 steps today. Like I'm under 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, at the time I've lost like 85 plus pounds, right? Like I think I can, one scoop of dirt cake won't fucking kill me.
Yeah.
Like I kind of deserve it in a sense.
It's easy to make justifications. Like it's easy to tell you why. It's like if I want to have a beer tonight, like it's pretty easy for me to talk myself into it. It takes a lot of power to say why not,
Yep.
Like you said, like I felt like shit afterwards or whatever. Like I felt like I cheated on myself. I think it's important to embrace in those too, but it's just like there's balance. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But like I know that I can talk my subconscious can really talk myself into doing the things I shouldn't be doing. The next day you really regret it. You're like, man, that dirt cake was good, but I didn't really need, like, it's an ongoing cycle of like, your brain's fighting itself to say what's right and what's not. But
absolutely, man. I think like to touch on that, like I still definitely have like some cravings like here and there. But then like, when I weigh in on a Saturday morning and I see that number like drop down by like, X amount of pounds, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I did not, have that candy or, I didn't cheat and have, that drink or, whatever, because I'm pushing myself. And I like seeing the number decrease on the scale more than I enjoy having, garbage food.
Yeah.
So that's where my mindset is now.
I have, I think, a good question to finish today's episode. So kind of like wisdom from you. So if you were talking to yourself on August 4th, that time when you were starting, and you had all these questions: how fast can I lose weight? How hard is it going to be? What am I going to have to do? You're now, let's say 90 days into it or 75 days into it.
Sure.
What would you tell yourself then, like right now? Like now that you've gone through the beginning phase, what would you go back and tell Holden on day one? Like, what is that wisdom you'd give him and be like, dude, you know what I mean? What would, let's hear it.
Man, I would just say like lock in, and like those first couple weeks, I'd say honestly, not even the first couple weeks. I'd say like the first month is going to suck. Like you're going to be tired. You're going to want to quit. You're not going to want to do anything. But, you and I have talked about, taking the long road of things, and seeing the bigger picture, right? Like I was never the guy that really like planned for the future, like, and now like, that's what I would really tell myself, like focus on your why, plan for the future and hold yourself accountable, show up, do the work, and you'll be where you want to be. Like, you are your biggest competitor. I don't necessarily think, I don't know if me talking to myself on August 4th would believe all of that right away, but I would try my hardest to do everything I can to be as persuasive and, as like, just as confident, if I was talking to myself like back then, to just, be accountable, be consistent, and be mentally tough. Like I think too, like I would look back and just tell myself like, you've been through some pretty hard shit. Like no matter what, like this is nothing compared to what you've been through. So keep pushing yourself because you've been through a lot to be where you are today. So don't quit now.
Love it. Yeah, I think that's such an important message to think about and realize. And I think there's other people. One, I want you to reflect, but two, the reason I'm asking is like the people that are in your shoes right now. Yeah. What do they need to hear? Like, what do they need to know? Because it is scary.
For sure.
It's not easy. And if you think, like when you're talking to the friends that you want to inspire, like think about what their mind is going through. What was Holden thinking on August 4th?
Yeah.
Like, what was he scared? Like, obviously, it took a lot of power to come in my office and have a conversation with me.
Yeah, it's a vulnerability aspect. Man.
Yeah. But what do your friends, family, people listening that are in your shoes that you don't know, what do they need to hear and know? You know what I mean? So, like, that's the framework I want to, when you're thinking of these things.
Yeah.
When you're talking to other people, like, just think, if you're going to have the maximum amount of, inspiration for these other people, what do I need to make sure they feel comfortable with,
Yeah. Don't be afraid. You know what I mean? Like if you want to like set a goal or, if you want to reach out to you or to anybody, any team member at Grizzly, wherever, right? Just reach out. Nobody's going to tell you no. Nobody's going to belittle you, nothing like that. Like everybody is here to get where they want to be and everybody is here to help each other, right? But everybody has to start somewhere. It doesn't matter, right? Like if you came up through the mud or, whatever, right? Like where you started doesn't mean like that's where you're going to finish. Like that race to the finish line, it's going to be hard and it's going to be tough, but you're going to learn a lot of shit along the way, and you're going to be mentally tough when you're done. So if you're looking for a why, figure out your why and why you want to start and what drives you, right? Like what makes you want to be better? Like what are you passionate about, right? Like why do you want to better yourself? And like what makes you get out of bed in the morning? That's what I would, tell my friends and family who want to start somewhere, or anybody who's listening, honestly. Like just start somewhere. It doesn't matter like, what you look like, how much you weigh, as long as you are where you want to be in the future, like that's all that matters. It's all about on how you finish. So finish strong and always push yourself and always be the best you. Start somewhere for sure. Set goals, start somewhere, be consistent, be accountable.
100%. Cool. I think we'll leave off on that note.
For sure.
I appreciate you coming on today.
Dude, thanks for having me, man.
I'm excited for end of November.
Me too.
We've got 365. We've got 5 books. We've got 1.5 miles a day.
Yes, sir.
Hitting the gym. So, yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed today's episode of the podcast. So, I think that's all I got. Do you want to throw out a social real quick? Do you want everybody to follow you on anything? Instagram?
Yeah, Holden_1019 on Instagram, or Holden_OFWG on Snapchat. You can add me if you want, and follow along on my fitness journey.
Yeah. I think for those of you, again, maybe in Holden's shoes, or if you know anybody in Holden's shoes, it might be tough to reach out to somebody like me. It might be intimidating, but he's going through what you might be going through, or
absolutely
whoever so get them to talk to Holden. I think Holden would be a great person to like help carry down that journey and start that journey and all that stuff. You're still early, but you can help coach that stuff. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, if there's anybody out there that's listening that wants to start somewhere and needs some kind of tips or whatever, definitely shoot me a message and I'll help you out.
Back on.
So, yeah.
Cool. Thank you for coming on. It's a good conversation, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.